Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. This is John Dora and Melody Kadamoyo here, coming to talk to you about why relationships turn from love to hate. Have you had that experience, John?
A very beautiful question, Melody. It's been there. I've had it. In as long as you've been in a relationship and broke up or maybe stopped that relationship, it means that something happened. Love either turned sour somewhere.
Hmm, I see. So, where do we begin?
We just begin by you see, when we are talking about love turning into hate, then somebody will be asking, what is love in the first place? So we got to define the term love and the term hate. What do we mean by love that is turning into hate? Melody.
Ooh, okay. Before we do that, maybe I should introduce myself. To those people who don't know us, you might think we are taking you for granted and we think we are celebrities who are known by everybody. My name is Melody Chadamoyo. I am a relationship coach and I am passionate about healing relationships that women have with each other. And I reside over here in Dublin, Ireland, and John, my colleague, is in Bahrain. So, yeah, and John is an influential, very interesting young man. We've been working together doing these lives for a while, and we like to talk about relationships a lot because, well, that's where we get most of our joy, right?
Exactly.
Mm.
Great. I really love how you get yourself into the loop, and it's I guess I cannot see them from my side. I hope people are watching. I'm trying to connect the other phone to see if we're having guys, but unfortunately it's not working. It's not behaving itself. Anyways,
Oh,
Melody.
maybe I should go to
um
comments. Maybe we might get a few. Uh,
yes, you should.
yeah, no comments so far, but you're all very welcome. We want to talk about why relationships tend to hate rather. And John wanted me to define what love is. I would define it from a very, not dictionary, just like a very layman terms kind of thing. To me, to love is to one love is not a word, it's a to me it's a verb, it's a doing. It's you do love, you don't you feel love, but you only do love because, well, love is always inside us. We live with love, we grow with love, but you can only know you love someone by what you do. And so it's if you are doing things that show love, then you are loving. If you are just loving them from afar and you don't tell them, you're not loving. That's my definition. But having said that, to love is to feel uh, gentle, compassion, protectiveness, passion, joy towards someone. It's to feel excited to see them, to feel humbled to be in their presence. Actually, because you really, when you love someone deeply, you really see the godliness of human beings. That you see God's ingenious creativity because you appreciate that which makes them human. And that's how I would define love. How do you define love, John?
To me, love, and in especially in terms of what we want to talk about today, relationship, which turns to hate. Love is just respect. It's kindness. It's having time for each other. It's just appreciating the values that somebody comes with in a relationship. So that's all about love. I don't want to go deep into making it. I just want it to be heard in a layman's language. You be kind, you give people your time, you appreciate their value, and you are also appreciated the value you are putting in. So that is all about love, Melody.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we are on the
Hmm.
same on the same track here.
Hmm.
And so what is hate then?
So hate is the opposite of all these. To me, hate, I always, look at it in two ways. There's hate that comes with anger, and there's hate that comes with jealousy. So
Oh.
you find people who basically they hate you, but in front of you they love you.
Mhm.
People who are jealous, people who inside them they're not happy whether you're succeeding. Then there's hate that comes with anger. Those people who show you exactly what hate it means, or those people who show you exactly what they feel about you. People who will not take your calls, people who's gonna block you, people who will not listen to any point of a word that you'll put across there. So, and looking at what we are going to discuss today, Melody, I see hate in a position where somebody used to value you, but now they are devaluing you. They don't show appreciation of the time that you make for them. They are not kind anymore. They don't want to hear anything about you anymore. Before you used to be a king or a queen, but now you are either a dog or a bitch.
Oh, what did the dogs ever do to us? Why do we compare bad people with animals that are loving and caring and always there for you? Oh, goodness.
Hmm.
I agree. I think to me it's hate, disrespect,
Hmm.
disrespect, uh, disconnection, and not caring whether someone is there or not, and sometimes even hating them, intentionally hating them, like doing something to make them feel pain, whether it's physical pain or emotional pain. And that's to me is hate. And I know there are people who would tell their people that love them or that they love them, but then they intentionally cause them the hate and or pain. And I want to say this is not because I know there are people who are into sadomaso, whatever. It's what's this? Sexual pain, whatever. This is not what we're talking about. We're mainly and they are both consenting, by the way. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people who intentionally do something that would harm someone. I still remember I was just married at the time. Like I think it had been maybe a couple of months. And I was talking, when you get married, you find married women want to talk to you a lot and give you advice. So I was talking to these women who had been with men, living with men for about 10 years or more. And they were talking about things to expect, whatever, whatever. And what they were telling me was, oh, he gives you flowers now, he's going to stop. He actually never did. He's doing this, but he's going to stop. All this is just going to die away. And then she was talking about her husband, and she was saying, I want to fix him. I looked at her face, and what she was you could see that there was no love left. She wanted to fix him, like, so that he would feel as much pain as she was feeling at that time. And I wondered, just like, now, what, 20 years later, I'm still wondering about it. What would happen for a person to move from loving a person like that to wanting to fix them, so they feel the pain and the anger and yeah. So that's our conversation today.
I love how you bringing it out, Melody. And as we converse, I hope that those who are watching us right now, Melody, unfortunately, I can't share this video to my community, so
Oh,
I'll have to share it. I don't know after the conversation, perhaps. But those who are already watching, you see, Melody, I believe that. The beginning of relationship defines what kind of relationship people are going to have, but unfortunately, you find out that a bigger percentage of relationships starts just because people have to be in one. Like, for example, I'm grown up now. I'm over 18. I need to have a boyfriend or I need to have a girlfriend. I'm 20 now. I'm working. I have a job. I need to have a husband or I need to get married. I should be having children. But the question is, do we define the meaning of having those things that we admire to have because we have achieved a certain level? And the same question I ask people, is it because of circumstances? Like, I am 18, I have a job, or maybe I have this one, that something that relationship comes in.
Mm.
And per se, let's say, for example, it's because of circumstances. If it is circumstances that makes you feel like now I'm good enough to do this, and then you get into one, don't you think you are wrong? I'm bringing question back to you, Melody.
Um, so I think that when you make a decision like who should be standing beside you in your life, you need to know who you are first. You need to know what your values are first. You also need to know what you need from that person first. A lot of people tend to want to show the outside world what they've achieved. Like being in a relationship now is an achievement. So and it's been a major achievement because a lot of women have been shamed for not being in a relationship, and men sometimes, because people will say, where is your girlfriend? How come you don't have a girlfriend? And why are you not married? And all sorts of things. So people then just get someone to be next to them so that people don't ask these questions. The problem with that is you will marry that person, and then the next thing is where are the children and whatever. And then the next thing is why don't you have a car? The next thing is why don't you have a bigger house? The next thing, so you cannot live your life wanting to please other people, because then you are the one who has to live with this person in your home, in your life, beside you. And if their values, their way of looking at the world, everything that they are, who they are as a person, does not suit you, your life is going to be very difficult. That's just fact. And because relationships are really difficult, whether even when you start with, we are on the same wavelength. I speak from experience here. I married the man of my dreams. We loved each other so much. And I could not foresee that after a few months, years, about a couple of years, I wanted a divorce from him, because it's not something that anyone ever told me, except, those people were saying, oh, he's going to stop doing this. But to me, it was so much worse because he wasn't even seeing me anymore. Like he didn't appreciate me anymore. And I wanted to be appreciated, right? And I deserved to be appreciated. I still do. So when you make a decision to be with someone in your life who stand beside you and they don't see you, it's very painful. So whom you are choosing has to know you, who you, not the pretend you, because I know sometimes we go out there and we are other people. The you that you are every day, and they like that you that you are every day, and they appreciate the you that you are every day. Because that's the only way to survive a long-term relationship, because your real character is going to come out. And when it comes out, that person does not need to be so shocked that you are like two people, two different people. The one that they used to date and this one, the real one that you are now. Be
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. Be yourself. Know who you are and be who you are all the time. Because when you are being who you are, the right person will be attracted to you. Now, if you're being someone else that you think is more attractive, the person you're going to be accompanied by is that person who likes this that you are being right now. And
A
then
right
when,
person getting attracted to the wrong one.
yes, and then when they finally, you finally are together and it's, time is moving, all the romance and honeymoon phase is gone, or the hormones are settled, then they start thinking, I was cheated. This is not the woman I married, or this is not the man I married. Then you have problems.
Wow. So it all comes down into expectations, both from trying to reach people's expectations and also trying to reach self expectations. Because from what I gather from what you've said, Melody, is like we sometimes you get into these relationships as well with expectations that are not that is not achievable. You know, you expect too much from somebody who can't offer that. But then because the society is also pushing you because they expect you to be with someone, you
Mm.
just accept them because now you've got no room to kind of try to find out who suits you and who are you in first place. Because what you have said, which is very important, and I keep repeating this to everyone out there, before knowing yourself, before being like, there's something that most of the women nowadays, I think they're coming to understand and support me in this. If you're a woman and you want to achieve something, before you achieve it, do not look for it from a man. For example, you're a woman who's been thinking and dreaming of driving a car. Before you drive one, do not assume that, you know what, if I marry this guy, my dream is going to be true. Because if it is because of him that you're going to drive, then that's where love turns into hate.
Yeah. Because he's going to, this is what's going to happen. He's going to
Mm-hmm.
buy you the car and he controls the car and he controls you. And he tells you when and when you can drive the ar and when you can't drive the car. And sometimes he might tell you to get out of his car because he bought it. And the same as houses, right? Contribute. I'm not, and this is something that is very touchy for some people because some women have the luxury of staying home to look after the children. I have to
Mm-hmm.
say luxury and privilege to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it then becomes contribution to the household in whatever capacity becomes a competition that shouldn't be. And also, these are some of the things you need to discuss before you make that commitment. Some men are happy to give women everything. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's very possible, but some men are not. So talk about it. When you know who you are, when you understand yourself and your values and what's important to you,
Mm-hmm.
then you can make a decision. Like I remember when I was talking to my boyfriend at the time, and we were talking about getting married, and he was like, I want you to be a stay-at-home mom because I want my children to come home and find their mother there because that's very, it's enriching, whatever, whatever. And I said, yes, that's very important to you. That means I'm not the right woman for you. You need to go find someone else because my vision of myself is me going out to work, doing whatever I need to do for my life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Mm-hmm.
I've got a bigger purpose. And he said, oh. And then he thought about it. Then he came back and we continued with our relationship. Because if I had said, yes, 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 that's what I'm going to do, and then we got married, and then I would say, I want to go to work, that was going to create a lot of problems
A lot
for
of
the
chaos.
Yes. And it's not fair to do that to another person.
You
So,
know, every time, go ahead, Melody.
no, I was just going to say, so if that's because that person is not right for you, does not mean you're not going to find the person that's right for you. That's another thing. People think, if I lose this one, it's gone. There are
It's
7
gone.
billion people in the world, people. And
7 billion people around the
yes,
world.
I'm sure you can find someone. You can, really, you can. I can promise you that.
In summary, Melody, I've been asking our sisters that, let's say you are in that house and something happens tragic, and he tells you pack and go.
Mm.
What are you gonna pack?
I don't know.
That's the
My
question I
God.
always ask my sisters. Yes,
Mm.
something happens tragic, and then the man tells you pack and go. You see, if you are that person who accepts when a man tells you that, you know what, I just want you to come and be a woman of the home or a woman of the house and stay there, I'll provide everything. You have to be very careful. We are in another type of world, not the world that we were in some centuries ago, maybe decades ago. You see, You have to put your hand on something. If it is buying some things, contribute such that it is hard for somebody to tell you pack and go. Because when he lifts his lips to say pack and go, he looks around and he says, "Oh, the television is going to go." He looks, "Oh, this sofa set has been my relaxing area is gonna go." You know, so it's a matter of just trying to make yourself to be relevant as well, even though the things of the world should not define our relationship, but we have to think beyond just being human and being kind to each other. And then what do I expect from the people that I'm staying with in a relationship? Do I provide the same things to them? Do I offer the same thing? For example, if somebody is every birthday he's gifting me maybe with a car or maybe a new suit or maybe taking me out for a dinner every birthday and the year passes, what do you do to this kind of a person? What do you always offer in turn?
So I'm going to say to you, and I'm not going to
Mm,
answer that question. The people who are watching are going to answer that question.
mm,
Our viewers are going to answer that question. I'm going to say to you, I don't think if somebody tells you to pack your bags and go, it's tragic.
mm, mm,
But I think if they get run over by a bus going to work, that's tragic.
mm-hmm,
Because if you're married, right, and the person says pack your bags, you can take them to court and say we were married and you'll be given, money to look after you. That's okay. But
mm-hmm,
if they get hit by a bus or they die, like my husband died yesterday, I was having this conversation with someone, and they were saying, "Oh my God, you have done so much because you have your own career and you're doing everything for yourself and you support so many people and stuff like that." And I said, and I still remember my friend saying, "Oh, I'm married to an engineer. I'm married to an engineer. I don't need to work and stuff like that." And I was like, "Okay, that's you. Do you? I'll do me." I went, I did my masters and finished my masters and started working. Within 2 years of me finishing my masters, my husband has died. My husband was doing a PhD. He was so intelligent. I have certificates up to here that are full with his name. I can't use them. No one can ever use those certificates. They're his. But because I had something to fall back on, and the other very important thing, because I came to Europe with him, I was on his visa.
mm-hmm,
So if I didn't have a job, I would have had to go back home. So sometimes it's not just, let's not say he's going to dump you because, yeah, that's okay. But some other things are going to happen, and you have children that
mm,
need you to feed them, to educate them, to do so many other things. Those are things we need to talk about. Even when you are talking to your spouse and he's saying, "I want to do all this," how then does he have insurance that ensures that if something happens to him, you and the children will be okay for the ever? Is he capable of doing that? And then, you know but I think we are getting too serious. Oh no, not too serious. We're going on a tangent that I want us to move to something else. There are some other reasons why people start hating each other when they're in relationships. Lack
mm,
of communication is one of those reasons.
mm-hmm,
And lack of communication in terms of the person says, "I'm the man of the house, I'm the head of the house, so I don't consult anyone, I just do what I want." That can cause a lot of resentment, which immediately turns into hate. And we most of us don't really know how to communicate. To say, "I want this, I need this." We don't know how to communicate. We make a lot of assumptions. We think he's thinking that, but you don't ever say, "Oh, she thinks," or "he thinks she's thinking that," but nobody actually says, "I think you're thinking this. Is this really what you are thinking?" Because I will tell you right now, if you ask, that person will say, "No, I wasn't thinking that at all."
mm-hmm,
Because you think from the knowledge you have, from the fear you have, from the experience you have had in your side of these two ears right here. And when you think that way, 9 times out of 10, The person that you are looking at is not even on that same wavelength at all. So when you are making assumptions, you start thinking, oh, yeah, he's doing this. And we do that in terms of you, John, get home, you put your shoes by the door because you're tired and you can't be asked to put them in the right place. And she thinks he's doing this because he wants to upset me.
Yeah.
Why is he doing this to me? And you're like, I just left the shoes by the door. The
Yes.
shoes and you are not even connected to each other. Or you get home and maybe you went out with your friends and you don't want to eat, and she has cooked and you don't eat your dinner, and it thinks, oh, he's not eating my dinners anymore. He doesn't love me anymore. He doesn't care. Oh my God. Next thing, you phone a friend. Oh, yeah, he's got a girlfriend. Someone is cooking for him. Problem, right? We need to communicate. Even if the communication is, I am feeling insecure right now. Can you please help me feel safer? What's going on with you? I'm saying this because I still remember, and it's unfortunate because my husband died and we never had that conversation. Because I used to assume my husband's bad, um, like anger and a frustration he had something to do with me, only to learn that actually there is racism in Ireland. There is work frustrations. There is his PhD was giving me a hard time. Like so many other things. We were financially not okay at the time because we were both students, and I took all his negative feelings that I was getting from him to be about me, and I assumed he was angry with me. You see? So what did I do when I thought he was angry with me? I made him suffer. Because that's what you do. When a person is treating you badly, you don't treat them right, right?
Exactly.
You make them suffer. And it was only after I decided to stop, reacting, and I started being nice to him anyway, no matter what. That's when things started shifting. But when they started shifting, we were such good friends that and then I started thinking, maybe he was looking at me thinking, I am really feeling low right now, and she's torturing me. What's wrong with this woman? I need someone to be nice to me. She's the only one who can be nice to me right now, and she's not. So where do I go? But no one was talking to anybody because we were both making assumptions, and assumptions are not good. They are not good at all. So lack of communication is one of those. And thinking men and women are inferior versions of each other is also one of the reasons why people start hating each other. Just because I'm a woman does not mean I'm inferior to you. Just because you're a man does not mean you're inferior to me. We need to start really looking at when we are saying we care about, or I want a man in my life, what
Mm.
do you mean exactly? If you say you want a woman in your life, what do you mean exactly? Do you want someone to look down upon and kick every time she's being a woman? You think, oh, women are so emotional. Oh, women are so weak. Oh, women are so whatever. Because that's not wanting someone, is it? There's so many things, good things you get from a woman. Not just sex, by the way, even though most people think that's all they get from women. They get a lot more. You just don't even taken the time to actually sit down and think, what do I get from this person?
Mhm.
And once you start understanding that you get value from this person, appreciate that. Just because he doesn't know how to do feminine things or he doesn't communicate well. So you communicate enough for him to be able to communicate. Teach him how to talk to you. You can even say, I notice you are angry. I notice you're frustrated. What's going on? Or if you feel it's about you, you think, I notice you're angry right now. Is it about me? Did I do something?
Mm-hmm.
And he would say, oh, no, 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 babe, you didn't do anything. Take him for his word, because usually men say what they mean. They don't give hints, they just say it, which is so great, because imagine what would happen if men did what women did. And another reason why um, relationships tend to hate is lack of self love.
Mm-hmm.
Lack of self love is shown by this. I've all these things I'm talking about. I've done them in my life. Fortunately, I've stopped doing them, so now my relationships flow well. But I have done them before. So one of them is lack of self love. How it manifests is, as a mother, I would go to the shops and buy clothes for my child, never for me, and for my husband, never for me. I would be the last person in bed taking care of every little business. If my husband tried to do anything, I would tell him he wasn't doing right. So I would take over and do it myself. Because, I mean, I'm the best worker in the house, right? So I did that until I was breaking down with exhaustion. And then I started saying, he doesn't do anything in this house. He's so lazy. And the, for me, the most interesting thing was, during our dating, during our early marriage, whatever, my husband always did housework. He cooked, he cleaned, he had no issues with that at all. So when he stopped doing them, I had to go and look at, why did he stop? It was all me who thought the way he was doing it was wrong.
Was
My way
wrong.
of doing things was correct. So I'm the
Mm-hmm.
one who's correct. And I had to apologize and ask for help, which he
Mm-hmm.
provided. And that was the best decision I ever made. Because then, things started to flow, and I had the time and the space to do things that made me feel good, like reading, like going out dancing, like going into, seeing trees and hiking, things that I loved, exercising. Because before that, I didn't have time because I thought I had to be the be and end all. So self love is important. I am also going to say this to men. Men sacrifice themselves to provide for families. They usually go to work and come back late because they have to provide the houses, the cars, and whatever things that, I don't know whoever gave you that responsibility. You take it on your own. Nobody ever said you need to be the biggest provider of the whole world. You took that. So you don't give yourself time to be with friends just for a laugh, to do silly things just for fun, whether it's golfing or tennis or something, do exercise. You will find you will be a nicer person to live with, because a woman cannot do those things for you no matter how much she loves you, and a man cannot do things for you no matter how much he loves you. Loving yourself is a job you do for yourself, and you need to find out which are the things you need to do to show yourself love. That's knowing yourself that we talked about at the beginning. So those are the reasons why love tends to hurt. Because
Wow.
if you, yeah,
I was so silent, just putting notes down to get to comment on them as we sum up the conversation, which was so sweet. I don't know how many people are feeling what I'm feeling. When you see I'm silent and quiet and not even trying to interfere, you must know that you are hitting it home, Melody.
I was getting
So
worried there for a minute.
not really. You know me. You know me that when I feel like things are not getting home, I'll interrupt and try to bring you back home. But for real, the conversation has been so sweet, so great, and I've learned something that I didn't also expect that we're going to talk about. But let me just briefly uh, comment on what you have talked about in communication, especially in communication. Most often when people talk about having a bad communication, people will always tell you that, I'm the one who starts conversation. He's not calling me. I'm the one who is texting. He's calling me only once. People think communication is all about calling, texting, and blah, blah, blah. But the way you brought it out today was, I was smiling inside me and I'm like, I really wanted somebody who can say this. And today it's here. You see, communication is not about a mobile phone. It's not about a telephone. It's not about, telling somebody I love you or what. But it's about what are you thinking? What is inside you? How are you feeling? What you feel? What is disturbing you? So that somebody does not misinterpret what is disturbing you. That is what communication is. And you gave us a very great example. A man comes outside and he's so tired that he cannot put the food in the shoes on the rack. So he removes the shoes and he leaves them outside on the doorstep. When the wife comes, the wife concludes that, you know what? So he just did this intentionally to make me mad.
Yeah.
That is lack of.
Like a person has got nothing to do except to do things to make you mad.
Yeah.
Really?
So it's an ineffective communication, which a lot of people don't put it as a communication. People will just say that, no, he's it was just out of shoes. He was just shouting because of the shoes. But they misunderstand that, what happened, what I was trying to communicate out there was not to make you mad, but it was I was tired. So yeah. So
Yeah.
this is very important. And absolutely, Melody, even me being a victim of that, because there are sometimes that I'm so tired. I do a lot of content on social media. Sometimes in a day, I do more than 5 videos. And all these videos needs you to do a research, put notes down and do those videos. And then once you are just done, you click the last button and you want to relax and a phone call is coming.
Mm.
So you assume it. You don't take it because you don't want to hear anything coming into your ears. You just want to relax and you
Mm.
don't pick the phone call. And it rings again. You don't pick it. And the
Yeah.
third time you get anxious, like, why can people just relax?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when you pick the call, instead of airing out what was happening, you pick it with anger. And the
Yes.
communication gets out there like, oh,
Mm.
so you are avoiding the call because you didn't want to talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is
Whereas
great.
you were actually avoiding the cold because you were loving yourself. You were just
Yes,
giving yourself room to breathe so
room
you
to
could
breathe.
be able to speak to this person whenever. Like I always say, if you call somebody
Mm,
once and they don't take the call and they cut you off, don't call them back. They know you called them. They'll call you back when they're ready.
exactly.
Even if someone has died, and in our family we
Mm,
actually have a thing. Even if someone has died, they are already dead. There's no emergency anymore.
yeah,
There's only emergency when someone has to be taken to hospital. There is emergency. When someone is dead, don't phone me in the middle of the night. We actually have a thing with my mother and my
hmm,
siblings. Don't like wait until it's daytime because calling me at 2 a.m. is not going to raise them. It's not going to change the
exactly.
facts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait. It's taking care of not only of yourself, even of those people. Because now we are all not going to sleep. It's not going to change the facts.
He's not a
Loving
come.
your Yeah,
He's
loving
not going to come
yourself.
back to life.
Yeah,
Mm,
exactly. Loving yourself is so important that you need to put it as a priority.
mm,
And allowing people to show them love, themselves rather, love, is your way of loving them. And you need to put that as a priority number two for yourself. So when your boyfriend is not calling you back because they are busy doing something else or even just relaxing, allow them to do that. Because you know what's going to happen when you do that? They will appreciate you so much. They will never want to break up with you because all the other girls don't do that.
yeah.
Am I wrong?
You are right, Melody. You are right. You see, I've always believed that, what makes relationships last long are very tiny things.
Yes. Yeah.
Tiny things that a lot of people are not doing.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, people think that what makes it last are some glorious things like gold, diamonds, going out for swimming, going to Paris, coming back with Gucci bag, and all the rest. Man, people's pockets will run dry and you will be looking out and no outings, no Gucci, no nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Melody, the next thing that I felt so good about is when you are talking about self love and you touched on, you have to understand yourself first. And once you understand yourself and you begin to give yourself the space, give yourself the room, do things that somebody will not do for you. If you're a man, go outside there, play basketball, move around, see your friends, put that bridge and the gap. Make your partners understand that these things, they cannot do it for you. You can only do it for yourself. And let there be a room for each of you to enjoy themselves in a way that they would love too. Assume that she was not there. What would you do at that particular time? Assume that he was not there. What are you going to do in your free time? So you give it to yourself. Then, in the same line, you talked about forgiveness, which I really felt so good when I was listening to this because you see, I want to go to play basketball or maybe football or watch football or maybe have some good time with my friends. And my spouse or my partner, my wife or my girlfriend doesn't understand that. Then we get into a bad communication and maybe we collide and you're not understanding each other. So how do you get back? Sometimes it's all about ego. I know very well that what, I was just with the boys outside there. But she's thinking I was with some women, like you said, because once she will call her friends and the friends say that no, he came home and he did not eat. Oh, it means he's
Mm.
seeing some other women.
Mm.
So you see, when I have got ego, what I will
Mm.
do is to come home and say that I don't care. After
Yeah.
all, I know where I was.
Mm.
So even whatever you are thinking, you think it, but I don't care. But you see, that I don't care will never rub the kind of a mind that she has that the friends have already put on her. Unless I will come down to forgive her and forgive myself because I left, I never explained to her, like, what? In my free time, I love to do this. And you know what, darling? I'm with my boys and we are having a dinner right here. So I'm coming home, I won't take your food. I won't eat while I'm home. So it's easier for her to digest, oh, he's coming, he's not going to eat. So that is the kind of a forgiveness that we need to give to people. Instead of waiting for them to go out there and tell their mom that, mom, I've been cooking for John every now and then, but he's not eating. What is mom going to say? Hmm, my son in law could be seeing some women outside.
Yeah.
He cannot be, rejecting my daughter's food. And that's what
And
happens. So,
yeah,
mm,
sorry, John.
mm,
You know, there is this thing about wanting to control people
mm,
because when you have a husband, they have to be at your beck and call. And I don't know who came up with that rule and why they came up with that rule, but it does not work because you married a grown up, not a child. And a
mm-hmm,
grown up will make decisions that suit them at the time. My dad used to say it about my mom to his family especially that I trust my wife to make the right decision at any given time. And if she decides that she's going to need to buy something, she can make that decision because I'm not there and I can't be with her 24/7. So if your husband decides to go out with friends and go and have a beer, and now I'm going to have to qualify that because I know there are some husbands who are always out with their friends every day and they are drinking every day. That's not what we are
mm,
talking about. We are
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about a person who is responsible, okay? But then they meet their friend and they decide to go out together without communicating with you. They're still an adult, right? They might send you a text message, or you could say,
Mm.
when you make decisions like that next time, so that I don't worry, just send me a text message saying, I'm out. I'll talk to you when I get home, and not explain expect him to give you blow by blow of everything that happened either, because you don't do that with him. And besides, men don't talk the same way women do. We do that. We give blow by blow of everything that happened. Men don't do that. They will give you the gist of what happened. And that's it. That's all you need to know anyway. If he is guilty of something, your body will tell you. His words won't tell you. You will know he's guilty of something. So you don't need him to tell you anything. You will know anyway. So you pay attention to how you're feeling and how he is being. But trust, if you don't have trust in your relationship, you don't have a relationship. If you need him to tell you every second where he is, you do not have a relationship. And this is a subject for another day. So we'll pack it there for now. Did I answer
Thank
your
you,
question?
Melody. Yes, you did, Melody. It's always a pleasure having you here, Melody. And those who are just joining us, you are late. You missed a lot of great vibes, but fortunately, these things are recorded. You can always watch them again and again. You can also go to the YouTube channel and watch them over there. And see you again, Melody, when we will be ready for our next conversation again. We will be doing some plans backstage with Melody so we can come again because of a lot of commitments in and out. Melody is also taking another study right now. So we cannot come every week. We will be trying to do it in as much as we are free in our free time so we can continue, learning and also teaching other people out there Melody. So I don't have much to say. What I just need to tell people, guys, we need to take relationship from hate to love by just trying to communicate well, love yourself, give yourself time, forgive people, and always appreciate what you have, because having what you have right now might cost somebody millions and millions of years to have it. So keep what you have. Don't go for the birds that are in the bush.
Because you don't know what you're going to catch. It just happened. Yeah. So thank you
Sorry
so
for
much.
that, Melody. I was receiving a call. Melody, you can, yeah, you can finish it for us.
Okay, I because I wondered what happened because something flashed and everything went away. And anyway, thank you so much for your attention. We really appreciate you. Say in the comments what you want us to talk about next, and John and I will make an effort to be here maybe once every 3 weeks, once every month if necessary. Because I'm doing studies at the moment, and but I still love because what I'm studying is to do the relationships anyway. So I still love doing this and we'll continue doing it as long as we are being helpful. And thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Goodbye for now. Hmm.